Welcome, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Well, actually, no children of all ages. This is a mature show, kind of. Welcome to Some Random, episode 19. I am your host, Sriracha Flash, and today with me, I have the beautiful, the wonderful, the impeccable, the magnificent Ryan Hacker. Damn it, Hacker.
Yep.
How are you today, buddy? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. Excited to be on the show. How about yourself?
Oh, you know what? It couldn't be better. Phantom Crush, thanks for stopping by, and that awful emote in the chat. Jesus, that's scaring the hell out of me. That caught me off guard. A lot of you wouldn't know Hacker because he's from outside of the FGC. This is another part of the Some Casual podcast that I've been doing, where I bring in friends, family, people from all over the world that are outside of the FGC, and kind of get their perspectives and how they view fighting games as a whole, the fighting game community, and like their interaction with fighting games and how it relates to their other gaming lifestyles. But enough about me. Mr. Hacker, why don't you tell the world who you are?
Hi, I'm Ryan, rfhacker, dadman. I'm a father, husband, software engineer for the United States Air Force. Things I like to do: tabletop RPGs, board games. I mess around with a really old lawnmower, and I fuck with cars. From team I'm Not Your Dadman, a very unknown team, and I'm also the sexiest dungeon master around.
That's true. That's the fucking picture I should have used. Hold on.
Well, I thought about it, but I thought if we're gonna link the Twitter and everything, that's the Twitter pic.
That's fair. Look, I understand. Hold on. I'm gonna add it as a fucking second picture, because if we're doing the world a disservice if we're depriving them of the greatest, the sexiest dungeon master to ever walk God's green earth. But anyways,
and they're on my Instagram. They're on my Twitter.
Yeah, they're all over the place. If I can't get them, listen, y'all go find them. It's impossible not to see the man. Yeah, you fucking a world of shit. I'm like, you might be one of the funniest and most interesting people I know, and that's not just me trying to suck your own dick on this. Like, you were, I don't know, you've been one of my good friends for a long time, and legit to this day, just one of the best people that I know. Can't say enough nice things about you. So yeah, man, let's fucking get into it. Right off the bat, and listen, I'll get to team Deadman and everything else because I'm very curious. But like, how much time have you spent in fighting games? Like, how much, or even like fighting game adjacent?
So I put tons and tons of time into my favorite game of all time, Gundam Battle Assault 2.
You have no idea how happy that makes me, by the way.
It's my number one game. That's top 2-3 games. Those are the games that I've told my wife and told people, if you think that you're going to be a friend of mine, like a best friend, if you think you can call yourself best friend, you have to have played these games with me, like StarCraft, Gundam Battle Assault 2. So that one's quite a bit on that one. I don't have a good clock on any sort of hours. And then used to play a ton on PlayStation 2 as well. The DBZ Budokai 1, 2, and 3. Had the original Tekken on PS1, so I played a ton of that.
Oh yeah, classics.
And then when I had the PSP, I got to play Tekken Dark Resurrection, which was, I think that was just a port of Tekken 5.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
6 on PlayStation.
Yeah, I actually think you're really. Yeah, you might be right. Hold on, now I gotta Google this shit too. Jesus Christ, this is already more computer work than I wanted to do today. Tekken Dark Resurrection. Yeah. Tekken 6? No, it's Tekken 5. You're right. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're on the ball here. Yeah, but that one was still a solid game. That's still a diverse selection of games. The Budokai fighters. Those are fucking. Those games were wackadoo. They all retold the exact same DBZ arcs over and over and over. But hot damn, those games weren't fun as hell.
Yeah, they were super fun. They said the same thing, and every time you get one, you're like, oh, please, would you please go outside of Cell Saga or something, or would you please go past this little bit here? And then by the time you get to 3, you actually get to venture a little bit into GT, but it's not part of I don't think it was part of the main story, but
no,
some of the GT stuff at the very end.
Right, it's since been removed from the canon, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. But yeah, that's my thing with Dragon Ball games is I'm always I would really like to play one. I wish they would tell a different fucking story. Because I can only see Goku get shot, like, by fucking Raditz for, like, 50 times. And then after that, I'm just like, I need something new. Like, or, not by Raditz. He gets shot by Piccolo with Special Beam Cannon. There we go. Look at that. I know the fucking lore. All right, I watched a lot of DBZ.
I know all about the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, I've
was
definitely.
Great, though. It was great. It was a lot of fun. I got to, because I don't know if you got to play through what was the Dragon Arena part of it, and you would rank up your skills. So you got to do like a little RPG inside of the game.
Oh yeah.
And I had a competition between two other friends of mine, and we were trying all the time to see who could level up and have the best character. And then we would jump into tournaments, and we would see who would do the best. Well, they had a comm skill stat. So that was a stat determining how well the computer would play your character if you just like set the controller down if you didn't play. And I felt super dirty. So I was playing Oob, who had like a full screen knockback energy blast. And I put my comm to 20. I was the only person of the three of us that like put it on there, and like I almost got punched repeatedly because I would never play my character. And he's like, "That's not you." It's like that's just. I'm like, "That's my stats. Like that's what I built the character for."
I don't know what to tell you. I followed the rules.
Those guys were mad. Like he was like, "Why can't I put it into the computer's comm?" And they're like,
oh, man.
"No, that's not part of it."
Oob was super fucking good in that game, though. Oob was solid. Oob is one of the forgotten characters of like the Dragon Ball saga, because like he's never come back.
Yeah.
God damn, I would really love to have Oob back in like Super. That'd be nice. I need to finish Super though. That's my problem. Is I got to like I don't know the third or fourth time that old fucking cat nuts there was gonna destroy the world, and I was like, all right, well, we're just gonna keep retreading this story. I watched Resurrection F, and like that was as far as I got, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this. I'm fucking solid. I'm sold on this. But the most important part of all that, by the way, Gundam Battle Assault 2, that's one of my favorite fighting games of all time. That game is so fucking good. And it, like, they start you off with, like, 4 fucking Gundams, and then by the end of it, you unlock 30, 40 characters, including Big Zam.
Characters.
Oh, Big
like
Zam
some that shouldn't even be in the game. They're like, there's no reason for them to be a part of it.
What do you mean? You think Ball didn't have a part in the tier list? Like, it's fine.
I mean, Ball, I'm sure has a part. I'm saying, like, in he's like the original general character select lineup, but like when you get to the end and they're just like pulling stuff out of everywhere, and you get like Hydra Gundam and Psycho Gundam, and Psycho Gundam is it just like doesn't even hardly matches the art of the game.
Yeah,
and he just like constantly blasts out of his chest, and there's really I don't think there was any sort of limitation as to how often and how fast. He basically had all of the big Zam energy beams, but almost constantly. And it's like it's so difficult.
Back when video games were nice and fair. Oh man, those were the fucking times. I honestly do miss Gundam Battle Assault 2. I really want to play it on the channel and just like see if I can get like a local thing going. So I think that'd be a lot of fun. Hot damn. Well, that's
one of my great triumphs of physical game owning is like I have a copy after spending probably hundreds of dollars renting it repeatedly weekend after weekend. Family video.
Oh man, I know I probably told this story before, but like somewhere at my grandma's house there's a VHS tape of me when I was recording my Gundam Battle Assault 2 combos and gameplay. From like when I was like 10 or 11 or some shit, whenever I was playing that game. Maybe 14 even. Goddamn, later in life. But I was just so excited that I found out I could like video record my combos, and I felt so cool. But there's like a 5-minute section where it's just me with the original was AX-78 Gundam swinging that mace, because the mace was like a one-hit kill for his super.
The Gundam Hammer.
Yeah, Gundam Hammer. And fucking like there's just a 5-minute compilation of me hitting the CPU with the fucking Gundam Hammer, and I was so happy about it. Oh, God. I really, really wish I was back into the FGC in those days, because that would have been nice to play that game with, like, people that were super competitive about it. Hot damn.
Yeah, great.
Oh, my goodness. So, I mean, you've been around fighting games for the most of your life and stuff like that. How long have you been aware of or, like, seen the FGC? Like, I know guys like Justin Wong and those guys have come to permeate it into a lot of mainstream media and stuff like that, but, like, how long have you known about, like, how serious the FGC is?
For a bit. I mean, I remember when we like competitive gaming itself got really big, like when people started linking up their Halo boxes, like that kind of got a little bit more mainstream, and like Halo 2 came out, I think, and then that was a big deal. And I remember, most ridiculous moment in my life, my dad's like, "Hey, there's people winning a bunch of money on video games. Like, you spend a bunch of time on video games. Why aren't you doing that?" And I'm like, "Damn, yeah." And,
Damn, pops.
and
Shit.
it's probably a little bit later, learning more about the like the fighting game community, or at least knowing that those kind of tournaments exist. I know that they were going on much longer than that, but I didn't have any. Grew up in a pretty small town, so
yeah,
you certainly know.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the fucking feeling. Yeah, no, like that's just stuff I'm always curious about. But like like knowing about it, and like you've been in and around video games for a long time. Like, how do you view the FGC as a whole? How do you, I guess, is there much about the competition? Is there much about like the camaraderie and from what you've seen so far? Like, how do you view the FGC? I guess.
I think it's great so far. Everything, because most everything I've got to see through your shares, your social media, and I've kind of like dug in a bit just to check it all out. And so I think a lot of it's great as a whole. And then I've jumped into channels and been like, yeah, I have no idea what that acronym means. And everybody's like, oh yeah, just ask us what all these acronyms means, what they mean. And I'm like, oh cool, yeah. So it's great going and jumping into communities and seeing how inclusive they can be, and seeing, because it makes sense. It makes a hell of a lot of sense. Because if like I said earlier, like if I sat down and somebody's like, let's be friends, I'm like, you know what, the quickest way to my heart is just playing Gundam Battle Assault 2 with me. So it makes a hell of a lot of sense for everybody to be sitting around and being like, hey, this is the same game that I like. This is the same game that you like. Man, we could probably be cool to one another, despite, trying to punch each other's faces in for a good 90 seconds at a time. So there's a huge overall that I've seen that, I think is great.
Okay. All right. Yeah, fair enough. It really is like that, A lot of the people that I've met is seriously just because I sat down next to them, or like I met them because I was like, I'm looking for some games, and the next thing you know, like now there are dudes that I fucking shared hotel rooms with that I'm just like never having met them before that moment. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna like sleep in your room for the night. Yeah, man, no problem. We'll fucking split a pizza and play games, and it's exactly what happened. I don't know. I think the FGC is really, really special in that it really does, like, as serious as the competition is, it really does bridge the gap between people very, very easily, and allows people to connect like on a really, really like personal level, because you can play against someone and you get fucking washed, because like it's happened to me, but if that person's like, hey man, like this is why you don't do that, or that this will help you with this, immediately, like now you've created a bond with this person, because like you trust this person to give you good advice, right? And like once you implement the advice that they've given you and it works, you're like, holy shit, okay, like now I'm learning, like this person is teaching me. And then there's like, here's some shit that I know that you might not know. And as soon as you're trading information, like the next thing you know, you're like at the bar and you're buying each other drinks and fucking arguing about whatever. But it's a great fucking time. It is. Oh man, I love going to FGC shit. It is the best. It is so much fun.
It's awesome seeing. I've been getting out and seeing more of these communities like that. So like I've seen a lot of that. A cool thing was being like seeing the security community going, and I've gone a couple years to DEF CON now, and it's ridiculous how much you can go up to these people. And you would assume that these are just the people that are like sitting in closets and they don't want to talk to anybody, but more than 90% of the time you walk up to these guys while you're at an event and you're just like, hey, what can you tell me about this? And like, you will get those like that 10% who like they try to like they shudder over their laptop and they hiss because they're in the middle of a competition or something. But there's tons more of like, hey, come here, check this out. And I don't know, I've had a lot of fun doing that as well. It's just like seeing somebody who has like a dazed look on their face coming across an event. I'm like, hey, you, come over here, let's play. Let's figure this out. Like, let me tell you everything I can possibly know. I know the least here, but I'm going to tell you the most that I possibly can.
Right. Well, look, that's actually a very important thing, and I can't let you get away without like explaining what the hell that is. You need to tell the people of the world what DEF CON is and what HackerCon is.
Oh, okay. So DEF CON is a worldwide hacker convention that happens once every year at Las Vegas. It goes through the weekend. It's like the second-ish week of August. It's kind of part of what they call summer camp. And during that weekend, that week in August, there's tons of other conventions. And DEF CON is a hacker convention that is made up of tons of little smaller conventions. So like you might think of going to, very similar to an FGC event wherein you're probably not just going to play one game and not one game is going to be played. You're going to go to DEF CON and you're going to see that there's more than one track of talks and more than one set of competitions. I've been pretty lucky, and I've had a pretty good streak of going out there and getting walloped by some of the best people in the world, which is really interesting. I got to join like a work team the first year, and that went way too well. Got to go, well, we won. I was on a team known as Majestic 12, and we won, and the team was awarded the Black Badge, which is like what you get when your competition is so difficult and there's so many participants, and the council of the event believes that this is like a worthwhile event that you should get a Black Badge, and that's like one of their higher honors. A ridiculous thing to be able to go and do the first time. That was a lot of fun, going up there and getting called on stage. And then the second year, because like I said, it was a work event the first time around, I had to be with some people I didn't know very well, and they were trying to teach me while I was going through it, and I didn't get to go around and see it. But that's where you're really going to enjoy an event like that, is going out and seeing it for yourself and doing what you'd prefer. So I felt really like locked in. I didn't know if I would have a good time. But the second time around, I tried to get my own team together, go out there and, just try it out. And that's where so the first time was wireless hacking, which is trying to use software-defined radios and whatever and whatnot to try to check out different wireless signals going on, and possibly even hacking into wireless access points and different things like that. But then this year I was trying out the car hacking village. And that was just a blast. And that's where we came up with the I'm Not Your Dadman. I tried to configure a team and bring them out there. I ended up only having one other guy, and these are teams that are supposed to consist of like 6 people. But it's just a ridiculous game of trying to fuck up cars, and we did pretty well. I actually got 6th out of, there were more than 50 teams that like signed up, but they didn't really score. But right. Top 10 was a really cool achievement for us, because honestly I ended the competition with like 5 people on the team, and most of them weren't there at the end, so there's only like 3 of us at the end, and being able to pull out against teams of 6 that were stacked up. And like there was the top team was a Canadian team that had like tons of sponsors and all sorts of stuff. I think somebody was complaining about them having $40,000 worth of software and hardware, and honestly I showed up with a work laptop and like maybe $200 of hardware that I had gotten like a couple weeks before, and just had thrown together and been like, we're gonna try this. But it was great. Like I said, I got to just grab people, and I said, come on, you're coming with me, we're gonna figure this out. And getting a top 10 spot and saying like, hell, we did that.
No, look, in the FGC, making top 8's a big fucking deal. So like top 10 for you guys, totally fine. You didn't gotta explain to me, brother. Fucking totally.
I like to call it. So I found out like all of the other teams. So there was the number 1 team was Canadian, sponsored by like Vector and all sorts of other stuff. Number 2 was an American team. They do all their stuff for charity. They ended up actually winning a Tesla. If you go back through my Twitter stuff, you can see that there was a Tesla on site that got had stickers all over it, and I got to smack the hood of with a sledgehammer, and so did a few other people. They hit it with a Tesla gun, all sorts of wacky stuff. That team actually won that because there was a secondary competition after the primary competition to see who got the car. And then, so that was the second team, is they're a U.S. team. And then third place was a Japanese team that kind of like jumped in front of us at the very end. And then fourth place was like these 2 Norwegian dudes, I think. I don't know. I only talked to them once or twice, and their team name was just Cordy. It was interesting dudes. And then number 5 was another Japanese team that was sitting right behind us the whole time. And we're very sure that they were sponsored by Honda, or at least they were Honda employees. Like they had issued laptops, and they barely spoke any English, and otherwise it was Japanese. And they were
Ah.
They were pretty certainly from Honda. So like, we were number 2 in the U.S.
Look,
it was a great time.
That's fucking solid. All right, so when you say fucking up a car, what do you mean?
So there's a few different things. Like, you can just try to get information out of the car, and that's like some low level stuff, just trying to get info back from it. So just hooking up into the CAN bus. CAN bus is just the network. It's the controller area network on the car, which is how all of the components talk to one another. It's a much older way of having a network. So if anybody out there knows anything about networks, then we know that, we have like hybrid systems on most networks, and we do IP-based communication, wherein one computer almost directly talks to another, usually through a few different back channels. If we're talking like a big network or the internet, there's a few points in between, a few nodes in between that it hits, but it's almost directly it's shooting from one end to the other, from my computer to yours, or if it's a peer-to-peer. On a car, almost everything talks all the time. It's just a bus. So your brake controller and your mass airflow sensor and your cam sensor are all throwing traffic out like on the same line, and it's up to your ECU to like figure that out. But the fact that like those sensors are throwing traffic all the time on the same bus, you can just like pick it up and like, oh, what's this? Oh, cool. People do that all the time with like network sniffing, but it's a lot easier when it comes to a car. You just have to get that physical access, and usually it's a little, depending on like how far you want to intrude on the car and whether or not you want to like take off a couple of components, it can be difficult. So that's like the low level stuff, just getting into the CAN bus and being able to read those sensors. The next level is being able to like spit that traffic back out. So if I want to sit here and tell your dashboard that you just accelerated from 0 miles an hour to 120 miles an hour, and just like make it bounce back and forth, if sorry,
you're fine,
you can capture, or you can mimic or copy, spoof, if you will, that traffic back out into the network, and it will just pick it up and be like, yeah, this is right, rock on. And then there's a few other things you can get a little bit more in depth, like actually getting into the wireless capabilities, because that's like the full thing. Is there's you can access the physical network of it, and a lot of cars now have the wireless network, so there's all sorts of ways to get into the wireless stuff. The one thing that pulled us up we went from 14th to 6th in about just a few minutes, because the last day we had 2 hours to compete, and we were down 14th, 15th or something like that. And I was just like, man, what in the hell can we even do to hopefully get top 10? Like, it's probably not going to happen. Let's see. And I was like emailing one of the guys that I had met that day, like, hey, I think I've got a pretty crazy plan, because we have constant access to these cars. And he's like, well, let me know if it works. I'm not going to be able to go down there. So that's why we only had a few people. And go down, and I spend a few minutes setting up, and I get the VIN of one of the cars. So one of the events is to get kidnapped and thrown in the vehicle and be able to hit all of these goals, to be able to lock the doors, honk the horn, open the windows, maybe like do other things. They didn't really have one for start the car because it's inside of an event center. They didn't want to start the car.
Yeah.
So they had all these points you could get, probably like a stack of just under 2,000 points or something, and arbitrary number. But we were sitting at around like 900, something like that. We were at 600, and we needed a few more, certainly to get in top 10. So what I was able to do is, you can just call, and this is not technically a vulnerability or an exploit, because I tried to report this, and GM doesn't care. They think that everything's functioning as normal, but there was a 2018 Chevrolet Tahoe there on the floor that I had physical access to, and I just sat in the car, I hit the blue button, and I told OnStar that I bought the car. And then from then on, I downloaded the My Chevrolet app and just did most everything on the checklist from inside the car. And like, of course, so they put you in the car. They had ran out of zip ties, so they didn't get to do that. They put a face mask on me, and they're like, do you have everything you need? And I asked, like, what am I supposed to have? And they're like, well, if you don't have a laptop, we can give you the one right here. And I'm like, I don't need that. I'm like, I've got everything on me. And they just look at me. It's just like, I have my phone in my pocket, and I had like a pen just in case they did have zip ties to like just twist and break out of the zip ties, just to kind of simulate what would somebody have on the street.
Right.
Just to add some fun to it. And they're like, well, you can use this one. I'm like, nah, man. And like, the guy on my team is like, what the hell are you doing? And then like some other passerby is like, I don't even understand what's happening right now. And so they throw me in this van with this ski mask with the eyes taped shut, or in the truck, and I proceed to just take off the mask, open up my phone, and I just start going to town and like, oh yeah, I've just unlocked the doors. Here you go. Here's all of the GPS information so that the police can find me. All right, and then they let me try to start it and do a few other wacky things. And yeah, that's what kind of kicked us up there. But yeah, it's funny that you can do that to most any fleet vehicle, like any car that's not really yours. GM really doesn't care.
Jesus.
Any 2015 or newer GM vehicle equipped with OnStar, which all 2015 or newer will have, that's a possibility.
That's simultaneously one of the most impressive things that I've heard, and also one of the scariest things I've heard in the last week. So, god damn it.
Sorry, I think that was a lot of talking, right?
No. Listen, the show's about you, god damn it. It's not about me. I appreciate the talking. Like I said, super impressive, scary as fuck. God damn. That GM just doesn't give a shit. But
yeah, and it's funny too because it's not just Chevrolet. They have the same app and same capability across their entire selection of cars, 2015 and newer.
Oh my god.
In fact, right now, if I could just open up the My Chevrolet app, and Chevrolet and GM and the OnStar Blue Button system believes that I own a 2018 Tahoe and a 2019 Buick Regal Tour X. And I can unlock them from anywhere that has internet capability. I can remote start, all sorts of stuff. Like I submitted the report saying like, hey, if you can remote start in somebody's garage, like you could kill them. And they're like, yeah, but you can't really do that like if you don't have physical access to the button. I'm like, yeah, I know I could call your hotline and I'm sure you would do it for me. Right. But GM's bug collection or bug bounty system qualifies a exploit by not talking or not using social engineering. So some people will just discount that and be like, you're just social engineering. It's like, it's part of the system, dude.
Oh my Christ! I'm gonna be thinking about that all week. That's gonna fucking bug me. That'll I'll probably be thinking about that when I'm trying to sleep tonight. Just like, man, someone wanted to, they could just turn on my car. So
no, like so the one thing, so that's always the thing I have to like follow up with is to keep yourself safe. Any car you have, just register it with your system. Like you don't have to pay for the subscription service, just register it and probably have email notifications on. So if somebody tries to, because that was like my next step, I'm probably going to try as well, is like, can I convince OnStar that I just bought a car that somebody like, owns and has a subscription to?
Right.
They can be like, just like, hey, I just bought this. Can I transfer the service? And I imagine they'll say yes. But just make sure that you have if you have a car, register it. Don't pay for any of those services if you don't want to. And then make sure email notifications come up whenever somebody tries to log in your account or change it. So hopefully they'll call you if somebody tries to say they just bought it from you.
Look, see,
they didn't even care. They're like, hey, where'd you buy this? And I was in Las Vegas, and I was registering it saying I was in Texas. And I was like, I don't remember the dealership. And they're like, oh, that's fine.
What the fuck? What the hell?
I said that. I was like, can I just put that in later? I don't remember. Like, what? I'm sitting here talking about a $50,000 vehicle. And they're like, oh, you don't remember where you bought it?
What the hell? Oh, this hurts my heart. Like, I understand there's probably some people that, like, throw some money around. They're like, I don't know where the fuck I got this. Like, I just bought it. Make it work. But you shouldn't assume that every consumer that comes through your hotline is like, yeah, I don't fucking know. Like, oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Jesus.
So, if you want to, like, if you're bored and one cool thing, too, is like if you own a Chevrolet already and you have one of these apps, like the My Chevrolet, My Buick, My Cadillac, what have you, My GMC, and you're already collecting the My Chevrolet rewards points, every time you add a car, you can get a big bucket of points. So if you, like, had the time and you wanted to get free Chevrolet services, you could just go and, sign up and go walk through a dealership and sign up all the cars in the lot and get all the free points.
See, you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? On Some Random, we give life advice. By the way,
I'm not condoning that behavior nor suggesting it, but I'm letting you know that is entirely possible.
Listen, we're just saying it's possible. We're not saying go out and do it. It's just a thing that you could possibly do. But if you get in trouble for it, don't fucking come back on us because we didn't tell you to do it, dummy. I'm just saying. It's a thing. That's possible. Oh my god, that is... Holy shit.
But yeah, that's I'm not your dad, man. That's just, I mean, it's something I want to keep going for any event that I go to. Yeah. I like the idea of going to the events and saying, like, you know, at work, you know, on the job, that's the kind of stuff I'm doing, like all these security things. And like, yeah, I'm totally your dad, man. Like, I'm going to take care of you. Let's make sure this is taken care of. But I'm going to show up to an event and, like, I don't know you. I'm not your dad, man.
I'm not your dad, man. I'll take care of you, but I'm not your dad, man. Oh, man. Oh, that's beautiful. See, look, we wrapped it around at the beginning. Oh, it's wonderful. Holy shit. All right, well, look, let's say we get back on track for a second. As much as I love that, because that was probably one of the best detours we've had off the shit. So let's bring it back around. Well, as a consumer, a lot of games nowadays have been introducing guest characters. Most recently, the Terminator is appearing in Mortal Kombat 11 as of October 8th of next week. Followed up by, I believe, Spawn will be in the game later on. And we've seen this throughout time, you know. Super Smash Brothers has characters from all over, like, every game series at this point that's ever been on a Nintendo console. Marvel vs. Capcom is literally a blending of two worlds and stuff like that. Is there a character that, if, like, let's say Mortal Kombat, right? Mortal Kombat wants to add a character to a game. Is there a character out there that they could add that would make you go, like, oh man, I really want to pick that game up to be able to fight and play as this character? Or is that, like, not something that will draw you into playing it?
I think, like, I thought of this in a completely different way. Like, would I go after that kind of thing? But now thinking, like, is there a character that I would go after? Like, probably, I think that if you did something crazy, if somebody went into some ridiculous small piece of culture, like, I'm looking now and I'm like, if somebody went and, like, grabbed some ridiculous anime character or manga character that I've read about that is just, like, no reason and no rhyme or reason for being in a game, maybe I would go that far. But in most situations, I probably wouldn't. Like, hey, I really need to pay, like, $50 for this game to play, you know, this guy. Like, a ridiculous idea, like, popping into my head right now is if there's the House of Five Leaves anime, like, it's got a guy who's a samurai but really not a samurai. If somebody put him in a game, I'd be like, maybe I do have to do that. He has no reason to be in a game. but I don't think I would. It makes sense, though, to go out and play things like Smash and go out there and, like, yeah, I really want to play it because this is a mashup of characters.
Right.
But if I'm like, oh, I'm on the fence about the new Mortal Kombat, and then I'm like, oh, Terminator. I've got to play Terminator. Because it doesn't seem like it's going to be a thing. It just seems like it's going to be a bit of a gimmick if somebody throws it in there.
Okay. Yeah, see, this is like... The more people that I've talked to about this, it's been really interesting because I've seen a lot of people, like, within the FGC say, like, oh, the reason that we get these kind of weird guest characters that don't make any sense, like the Terminator appearing in Mortal Kombat, and previously they had the Xenomorph and Predator and Jason and Freddy in the Mortal Kombat games, the last two Mortal Kombat games before this. I've seen a lot of people within the FGC say, like, oh, this is for, like, casual fan base. This is to bring in, like, casual fans and casual fighting game fans. But the more that I talk to people that are, like, have dabbled in fighting games but, like, play other video games, like, it's really not a draw for a lot of people. Like, a single character or, like, a couple characters really doesn't bring in, like, the casual audience like the FGC seems to think that it does.
Yeah. I think there was a time for that, though, because I almost immediately also thought about, was it?
Soul Calibur 2!
Soul Caliburs?
Yes.
Soul Caliburs in... when it was like Xbox, PS2, GameCube, and you had to choose between Darth Vader, Yoda, and Heihachi? Was he in that? Was he one of those?
Yes. So Soul Calibur 2 was Spawn on the Xbox, Heihachi on the PS2, and then Link on the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
And then later on, in the Soul Calibur 4, Darth Vader was on the PS3, and Yoda was on the Xbox 360, but then later they both became available for the systems. And then I think Starkiller was in both games. But yeah, but even still, those were console exclusive for, like, a little bit before they were available, like, cross-platform, which is very fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It almost seems like that was the time to do that, but it kind of seems a little dickish, just being like, let's just make it like that much more annoying that you have like one console. You have a budget for one console.
Right. Yeah, that's I don't know. Console exclusivity to like nowadays is so very very annoying. Like especially when they throw it in ads. Like I've seen in a lot of Call of Duty ads, and like I think PUBG had one where it was like you get access to DLC 30 days before Xbox if you play it on PS4, and like that's fucking bunk. Like, damn man, like of all the things in the world, like that's what you're gonna go after me with? Shit, that's super annoying. But yeah, fuck. All right, so I guess let's turn it the other way. Is there a reason that you don't play a lot of fighting games now, or is it just a genre that's just like, it's more fun to dabble in, but like I don't want to spend a lot of time learning frame data, combos, stuff like that?
A lot of my games are a lot more casual, and then just things that I can play with my kids. I mean, recently my son's been able to play like Star Wars Battlefront, so we just do survival on that, and then we've got to do some online stuff with it's free to play now, Awesome Knots Assemble. So like that's the stuff that I've been playing mostly. Not long ago, because Street Fighter V was like $20, I was able to pick that up, and then I read through and tried out probably a few paragraphs of Eats Gym.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was trying that, and I'm just like, man, that would be really cool. But then I think I told you when I was doing that, like I guess kept playing just using the keyboard, and that just got so ridiculous.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. I have a friend, I'll say acquaintance, because I don't know if I want to call Mego a friend yet, because he's a little out there. Although I do love him. But he plays on keyboard, and it's fucking astonishing to me that he can play on keyboard at the level that he does. But I like generally, yeah, playing on keyboard strictly is, I don't know, not something that I would advise to a new player coming into fighting games.
Yeah,
it's very difficult and fucking hard. But look, it means a great deal to me in my heart that you went out and you bought Street Fighter. You read some Geef's Gym. Shout out to Joe Monday. That dude's excellent. And like at least tried to play it, because we've talked about it before with previous guests, but like the barrier of entry to fighting games is kind of scary until you get through it, you know. But once you do, definitely worth it. But it's definitely fucking hard. That being said, if the barrier of entry was lower, if mechanics were easier to grasp, and there was like a really simplistic style fighting game, the first thing that I always think of is like Nidhogg, like a Nidhogg style fighting game. Would that be something that would draw you into playing it? Where it was something that you could kind of like pick up and be at like on a level playing field with everyone that you play with, like from the get go, or would that be like too watered down for you to feel like it had the depth for you to want to like play?
No, that's definitely like where I'm at right now. Is like being able to just pick something up and go. And Nidhogg is just a little bit about timing. It's almost rock paper scissors like the original. It's just like high low and like throw the sword, you know. So if there was similar stuff, it'd be great.
There's a term in the FGC called footsies, which is basically like you both characters are standing in the neutral, so neither character has advantage. And you're kind of maneuvering back and forth, like inching closer, inching out, like inching in and out of their range, inching in and out of your range, throwing out pokes and stuff like that, which are like short range buttons that are not really that committal. But like trying to pressure your opponent to create an advantage for yourself, and that's called footsies, for the most part. That for me, Nidhogg is pure footsies. Like I think if you play Nidhogg enough, you will get the basics down for any fighting game that you ever come across. Nidhogg is like the perfect game for being like every person is on a level playing field. We all have access to the exact same amount of tools, and the only thing that will separate like me from you is how well I do versus how well you do using the exact same tools. Which is like the beauty of Nidhogg is fucking excellent. Which you bought me a copy of that game like 5 years ago, and to this day I still like will hop on. And it's just a lot of fucking fun. Nidhogg is excellent.
It's nonstop too. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, that's that. that's another thing that I'm always very curious about is like, does lowering the barrier of entry like make you want to play? Would make you want to play a fighting game more? Not necessarily go out and compete, but like, yeah, I'll throw this on for an hour and like play online with people and stuff like that. Because I know,
I mean, it's fun. I mean, like how like you were saying, just me doing the Street Fighter thing, the barrier on that. I mean, hell, I don't know if I let you know, but that's the first Street Fighter I've ever even bought. Like I've been, like I said earlier, like DBZ, Tekken all the way, and I was just like, it looks all right because I don't know. I was really liked, like, here's Dragon Ball Z. It's ridiculous and it's constant projectiles, like almost constant projectiles. And then here's Tekken, and it's like low, if any, projectiles. And then like here's Street Fighter in the middle. Like I didn't really ever feel like mixing my fighting with my projectiles so much. But yeah, I checked it out, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, no, that's I don't know. Like I said, that makes me super happy. Like I'm very, 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 very happy that like you at least gave it a shot. And if anything ever comes from anyone like wanting to play fighting games from watching me play or like talking to me about it or like having any interest in the FGC through anything that I've done, that shit makes my heart swell 3 times the size. Like that shit feels really, really good. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's definitely hard to play like when you have kids and stuff like that though, like the time and investment that goes into it, and like on top of married life and everything like that, like that shit's hard. Like that's the other thing. Like a lot of my struggles and a lot of like people's struggles within the FGC that have families and kids, like it definitely is a fucking time commitment. There's not a lot of time that you can take out of your day to do these things. But you got what 3 kids now, 4 kids now.
I got 3 of those wonderful kids.
Yeah, 3 of those wonderful little kids. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, snip. And I won't tell any snip stories because I think I've already been told not to tell those because I always like try to ask them like, do you want to hear about it? And everybody's like, no.
I mean, it's me. You can tell any fucking story. I don't care.
Oh, okay. I think it's marvelous. Like, so you have the choice often of getting like, some people might have the choice of getting like knocked out for their vasectomy. I don't think that's often a choice. And then you have the option of being sedated so that you're just chill all through it. You'll probably still experience like the same pains, just about. You'll still go through the same stuff, but you're just not going to care so much. You're going to get some, I'm not like, I don't know, whatever they're going to sedate you with, but you're just going to be hanging out and maybe some volume or something. But you have the option because they still use local anesthesia to not really do any of that. And I'm just really interested in surgical procedures. Like every time somebody's like, hey, I got to go get this, I'm just like, I'm going to go watch that. Like like my wife's like, I might have to have a C-section if we have a baby. And I'm like, oh, let's go see what's going to go on. Like, I don't want to be like surprised when I'm there watching your C-section. So like, that's amazing going and watching a C-section, how fast they can do that. But yeah, so I was just like, yeah, I'm going to try to watch and like see what's going on there. Like, I'm not nervous at all about getting that whole snip. And I talked to my doctor, my surgeon, the whole time. It's outpatient, they take care of it right there. I talked to him about like music, and he's like, "Oh, my daughter's and all these crazy stuff, all this new rap stuff." Yeah, like got to like watch him make some snips. And like, of course, they pull, and they're like, "You're gonna feel a pull." And boy, do you feel a pull!
Boy, do you feel a pull!
See, yeah, they just like there's like a bungee cord in there that he just like gives a rip, and it comes down from your belly button, and you just like feel that. And I was like, whoa, and he's like, yep, there it is. Because like you don't feel the incisions anything, but what they have to like cauterize, and they have a little heated up needle basically that they got to do on both ends and all sorts of stuff. So like got to sit there and have the beautiful joy of smelling like the searing of my vas deferens there, or my little connectors. It's an interesting time.
Yeah,
I know it's not for everybody, but I really enjoy telling that ridiculous story. And then
listen, I appreciate that ridiculous story. And to be fair, you're not the first person to bring up vasectomies on the show, so you're totally fine.
I was commenting on I was telling everybody like, get the snoop.
Yeah, that's right. You were here when fucking Ocelot was on the show talking about him getting the snip. Yeah.
And I've met people that did the same thing. They knew that they're not going to have kids, and they go and get the snip. And I'm like, yeah, all power to you. That sounds great. Like, don't mess up somebody's life just because you couldn't find protection. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's the fucking biggest thing. Like, if you are not going to use protection, or like you don't know if like the person that you're with is going to use protection, like, I don't know, getting a vasectomy is like the best way to go, really. Like, if you're not gonna be,
like,
I don't know.
Oh no, if contraception is too expensive for you.
Yeah.
Go get a surgery? What? All right.
Well, I mean, look, all right. It's an in and out surgery. You pay for it one time. Listen, getting a vasectomy much cheaper than raising a kid. I'll tell you that much right now. Fucking cost now versus cost later. Because Jesus Christ, do these kids eat you out of house and home? So much.
Oh, but make sure that because like sometimes you might not really feel it right then. So like I was just walking normally afterwards, and of course the surgeon saw me like get up and walk out of the room normally. And he's like, "Hey, your wife's out there, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're gonna walk out there like that?" And so I gave him a few limps as I walked out the door. It was a good time, man.
I couldn't imagine like trying to walk immediately after this. Like that sounds horrible. Like
no, you're fine.
Are you afraid of things rupturing? That sounds awful.
No.
Oh my god. I've always heard like the blood could pool up, and you gotta like keep ice on it.
I feel like you're overestimating like how much blood is going on like in your scrotum.
Listen, I overestimate a lot of things. That's probably one of them.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
I mean, like there's gonna be swelling later on, but because it just happened, there's not gonna be so much going on. So immediately. Okay. It really kicks in. The bad thing was I was in a hospital that had the pharmacy right there, and they even give you an express order like, hey, your anesthesia is going to wear off pretty quickly, so go down to the pharmacy right now, give this express ticket to them right now, and
get your ass moving.
To like, fulfill it within so many minutes. And yeah, the anesthesia wore off while I was waiting there. That was really bad. It was just like the feeling is like, that feeling like it's not when you get kicked in the privates. Mm-hmm. It's like it's been at least 2 minutes or so since you were kicked. But it's that perpetually.
Oh no.
So like that's the feeling if you don't like go get your meds. Like as soon as you come off anesthesia, that's what you're going to be feeling.
Well,
it's not like the impact, and it's not like the surprise or anything. It's just like it's I remember that happening, and I have this pain right now.
Yeah, it's like it's that dull pain that like resonates through your body.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the worst fucking thing in the world. But I mean, you've already had 3 at this point. Like, you might as well snip it now. It's fine. And look, hey everybody, this is the part where I gush about my friends. You've raised 3 wonderful kids. You have a wonderful wife, and y'all do it right. I'm still, if I could learn anything from you on anything today, it's how to be a better parent. Because Jesus Christ, Lord knows that you guys do a goddamn good job.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
They're trying every day to just like, it's like a constant coup.
They're coming for your sanity. They really are.
Every day. I've got really good kids, but they are very trying. Like, and I know that people refer to like good as in like, oh, they constantly behave and they're so great. I'm like, they're really good kids, but oh my goodness.
See, that's the way we are with Opal. Is like Opal's a good kid. Like she's a very good kid. That doesn't mean that like right now, if I turn around, she's not trying to unscrew the fucking light bulb out of the lamp. Like I can feel it. Like it's in the back of my neck. I can feel her doing it.
Yeah. I can feel it. Like I just being here and being away from the children and in the same house as them for an hour now is just like, oh my goodness, what am I going to walk out to?
Right. Like, whoa, man. All right. Listen, I'll try to tell this story without incriminating myself too much. One day, got done with the show, turned around, and because I used to do the show when Evelyn's at work, so it's just me and the kids here. And Lily's usually off in her room, so honestly, it's mostly just me and Opal here, because Lily at this point is just like, with her friends. So I turn around, and I hear Opal making a mess. I'm like, all right, we got to close the show out, blah, 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 blah. Turn around, and Opal has just got a mess. Like, she's gotten to the cupboards, and everything from the cupboards is all over my entire bedroom floor. And I'm just, oh my god, dude. And she's just like, I'm so sorry, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's cool. Like, I'm trying not to lose my temper. It's no big deal. And then she, like, slips and fell and, like, right on her butt and started screaming. So, like, now she's screaming and the house is a mess, and I'm just like, it's okay. Like, I'm trying to calm her down. Now, she's mad at me because she hurt herself. So I'm trying to calm her down from being mad at me while the fucking house is a mess. And then Evelyn's going to be home in a half hour, so I had to clean the mess up. And just one of those times where I was like, you know what? Just, you figure it out. Like, you you clean up the mess. All right, you did this. As much as I love to do it, I know I can't. But sometimes just fucking... Anyways, everybody, that's the joy of parenting. So if you don't want to have kids, get a vasectomy. Listen, we're offering all kinds of life advice here today.
Yeah. Oh, man up and get a vasectomy. I mean, like, everything that I've gone through and everything that I go through a class and everything, there's no clinical results. There's no real scientific evidence of enhanced rates of cancer in men for vasectomy, but there are for things like ovarian cancer in women. So seriously, come on.
Yeah, for real. Like, man,
it's super easy. Like, it's barely anything, and it's a few minutes. And if you choose to, you can sit there and talk to your surgeon about complete nonsense.
That's going to be the tagline for this episode: is man up and get a vasectomy.
Yeah. Plus, like, 2 days off. I mean, that's what I think I got. At least 2 days off.
Oh man, that's solid. That's
just sat on the couch with a bag of ice on my boys. I don't even know. I think I watched. It's weird because I think I was in a haze the whole time. I definitely watched the Lost in Space series. That was one.
Oh man! All right.
Not the old one, the new one on Netflix. I'm sure the old one's great, but that's what was available on Netflix.
All right. So very important question time. Let's say you get another surgery. You're laid up, right? Let's say it's 20 years from now. All the kids are off in college, doing their own thing, living their adult lives. What show do you binge during that 2 day period where you're at home? Like, what's the perfect binge show for that specific point? Where you're like recovering from surgery, kind of in a daze. What's the perfect interesting but not just dullard fast food style show?
All right, here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat because I've already done my number one that I found out. And I wouldn't have known that this was my number one because I've already done it. But my number two, the one that I would do next, Baruto. Just that whole series. Because I'm sitting there and I just get to watch anime. I can do whatever other stuff. You know, it's just going to be pouring out of the TV anime. And every other episode, I'm going to get the urge to eat ramen and just have nice soup sitting there. Healing from my surgery and hanging out because I've already done it. I got the ACL replacement and I sat there and I just about everything I could of Naruto, and every once in a while I'll be like, I'm gonna have some ramen. It feels really good.
Fuck, that's actually a really solid answer. I don't know. For me, I guess it'd have to be something really good, that would keep my interest, but also long enough to last the 2 days. I don't know. Baruto's a really good answer. For anyone that doesn't know, Baruto is Naruto's son, right?
Yes.
All right, excellent. I got it. See, listen, I know some things. I might just watch The Wire for 2 days. I don't know. But I've already seen The Wire a bunch of times. So, if I have to do a new fucking show, probably the Castlevania anime that's on Netflix. I need to get around to finishing that. That's solid. That's an alright one. The Spawn, HBO series, also solid. What's a good one? I don't know. No Family Guy. Family Guy's not allowed. Just throw in the DVD of Breakin' and play it all day. What is Breakin', Rockdan? Oh, important note, hour into the show. For anyone listening on iTunes, Spotify, all that other stuff later on. We're on Twitch. We're live. So, twitch.tv/SrirachaFlash if you want to come hang out with us while we're live sometime. But throughout the time that we're doing this, we'll get notifications that you'll hear. Earlier, NCM Buford hosted us, which thank you very much for that. Buford hosted us and stuff like that, which is probably the sound that you heard earlier. And we answer questions from the chat all day. So if you are like, oh man, why are they talking to these random people? That's why. I should probably put this at the start of the show. I never do. Breakin' is an 80s breakdance movie. If I have to watch an 80s breakdance movie on repeat, I will do my vasectomy myself and hope it ends badly.
I mean, there's a lot of great stuff from the 80s that I'm a complete sucker for like all the Rocky movies, and then like a good time is like I've been going through and just crushing a lot of Might and Magic fantasy type movies, going through all the Conan stuff, and then yeah, there's a bunch of wacky ones out there that are just a great time. That like, I mean, you're like my wife does not suffer through them at all because she's just like, oh wow, you're watching one of these, and then just walks off.
Listen, you got to get Kim to sit down and watch The Last Dragon. I believe it's on Netflix right now.
Oh, nice.
The Last Dragon. Listen, it might be a movie for you, Ryan. Like it is a fucking excellent movie. It is. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll say it's martial arts in Harlem. That's my tagline. It's martial arts in Harlem, and it is fucking excellent. Yeah, 80s media in general, a fucking wild time capsule because the popular genres and like popular media spans everything. Like everything that we got from the 80s, like from Aliens to Back to the Future, to the 1986 Transformers movie, and everything in between, fucking astounding. Which is why the 80s will never die. Like that's the time period that will go on forever because everyone has this weird fondness for the 80s, which is like totally fine because that fucking time period is great.
It was a great time. It was a great time for practical effects. Like people were trying hard at practical effects. Like if you ever watched The Thing with Kurt Russell,
absolutely.
Oh my goodness. And like I've watched it so many times, and I'll cringe and I'll laugh about how it still got me, and I jumped at it, and I just love it. Like oh man,
it still grosses me out to this day. Like when they go to do the what are the little paddles? What are those paddles called? You know, the clear. What are those called? Shit.
Oh, like an AED. So
yeah. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, defibrillator. There it is. When they go to do the defibrillator on the guy in The Thing, and his fucking chest opens up.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite part.
Like the dude's arms get bitten off. Holy shit. That messed me up for years as a kid. Or like when the dog's face splits open. Oh man. Those effects back in the day, that was something else. Or like Evil Dead, especially Evil Dead 2 and like Army of Darkness, those had like excellent practical effects that were very fucking visceral. And they just worked, man. Like they were awesome.
Yeah, Alien was another one. Like the way that they had those facesuckers move. Like if you go back and you watch those, just finding out that was just them dragging the facesucker backwards really fast and then playing it forward. Like it still worked really well just because of like how it hit things, how it encountered things.
Oh my god, I had no idea that's what they did. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you see a facesucker scuttling around or jumping across things, it's just because like they drew it backwards super fast. So like most of the time, whenever you're drawing it backwards super fast, like the sucking portion, the bottom part of it is just like facing the camera.
Wow.
So it's constantly almost jumping at you, but it's really going backwards.
That is the fucking best piece of trivia. Hot damn, Ryan. I'm so happy you've been on the show today. Like, I'm learning so much. That's awesome. That is fucking... Man. Yeah, those were like a great time for a whole bunch of shit like that. What was another one? I just had it, and I fucking got lost thinking about facehuggers. I actually got a friend of mine a facehugger, like, piggy bank back in the day. That's like a little stuffed animal. And like it like has little like bendable wires in it, so you can like wrap it around your face if you really want to. But the little mouth opens up and it's got like a little coin purse in there. You just put your change in there, so it's got some heft to it. That thing was cool as hell. Oh man! Shout outs to Whitney, who also was a southern native. I'll say without giving away your location. Oh wait, you already said Texas earlier. Yeah, Texas. Shout outs to Whitney in Texas. Oh man, yeah, that's. Fucking the 80s. I think that's why we get stuff like Stranger Things, and video games like Stories Untold and stuff like that. That have like that, like I don't know. There's something about that analog sound of the 80s that fucking transforms me back, and like I can just see wood paneling on shit, and like everything is kind of like dusty, and like the sunlight doesn't really shine through the way that it should. I don't know. It's something about the 80s that fucking just gets me all the time. Like
everything hums. Like anything that you plug in just hums.
Oh my god. Yeah. That like every like videotape recorder just fucking hums like before it's even recording anything. That I actually had like a weird situation last night where like I heard something humming in front of my entertainment center. Couldn't track down what it was, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, all my systems are off. Like, nothing's moving. And then I just heard, like, from the back of the TV, like, my AC adapter for the Xbox One was just like, I was like, oh, that can't be good. Unplug that shit. I'm sure it's fine, but it's the first time I've ever heard it. It scared the hell out of me. Can't handle it. Why can't they just be normal? Terrible. Just terrible. Oh, man. I don't even know where I was going. I'm lost. Lost in the sauce, Ryan. I got stuck.
Lost in the sauce. I'm just gonna hit it again.
Yeah.
Rocky movies. How did they figure it out? Because that's the thing. It's like, I love watching all sorts of movies. I love getting into them and like finding out the rhyme and reason why. But I don't think I've ever tried to dissect what's going on in Rocky. But it just like, it cuts to some sort of core in my brain. Like, I'm sure that I could become like a millionaire and I could be some sort of art collector and have like these highbrow tastes, and still, no matter how many years I live, somebody can put on a Rocky movie and I'll be like, oh yeah, Rocky's gonna get him. And I'll just like sit there on the couch and I'll sweat and I'll just like, my heart will be pounding the whole time. Just like, how did they figure it out? How did they get to me? How did they just like cut into my lizard brain and they just know what to do?
Not only did they figure out the formula, they figured out the formula 5 times. And like, it's effective.
It's not just 5 times, it's like, it's all 1 through 5 and Creed and Creed 2.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah, Creed and Creed 2. I forgot about those for a second. And then like Rocky Balboa, even like not like easily the weakest of all the entries. Not too bad, honestly. Like, to be the weakest of the Rocky franchise is like still okay. Like, you're still better than most movies.
Right.
Man, like Rocky 4, the like, if I can change, like you can change. Hot.
Oh my god.
That fucking speech gets me in my heart every time. Yeah, huge fan of all 13 Rocky movies. There's not. Hold on. Shut up. There's 8.
There might be. We don't know. What else is shot off of Rocky? Like, come on. But like, Drago, like, oh, his face is like iron. Like, I wish that I knew how to say that in Russian, so I could just walk around and say that his face is like iron. Survivor coming out with like new original tracks. Burning Hearts.
Yes.
Oh my god. You ever listen to that song? Oh.
No, I've actually. Rocky 5 is not Cheeks, Phantom Crush. Rocky 5 is, it's Rocky, but it's not Cheeks. It's something. Cheeks is not a word I'd go for. The first Rocky won an Oscar for Best Picture. Yeah, because it's excellent. All right, so hold on. I think there's 8 mainline Rocky movies. Okay, so we've got Rocky 1 through 5, then Balboa, and then Creed and Creed 2. So I believe that's 8. But do we count the Italian Stallion, which was the original Rocky script that was like a softcore porno by Sylvester Stallone? then became Rocky? Like, because that movie definitely exists, and I definitely rented it out to quite a few people when I worked at Family Video. Hold on. Look, for anyone watching, I'm gonna throw it up on the stream. Hello, Cole Steele.
You gotta admit that like Rocky 1 had some weird stuff. Like the whole, like as soon as Rock was like trying to kiss Adrian and she was like trying to get away, like that was bad. That is that shouldn't have been in the movie. That I could only hope that nobody would like put that scene in the movie again when they're just trying to be like, oh, he's a kind-hearted guy who just likes to box. And then he just like keeps her from leaving his house. It's like, this is a little much. Like, now we find out that, like, you know, it's like building up. That's the subplot of Rocky. Building up and watching Rock, like, stalk Adrian all the time and try to talk to her in the pet shop. And then that one time he gets her to come back to his place. And he's like, you're not allowed to leave. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. There was I mean... Listen, I really wish I had a goddamn robotic butler. That would be the dream.
Rocky 4 is where it's at. Rocky 4, like, if you want to know everything about the Rocky, number one, Rocky 4, like, just encapsulates it all. He's got all the money, and, like, you know the production company has all the money. But a good 15 minutes of Rocky 4 is just going back over every single other Rocky film up to that, because he gets in his, I think that it was like it was either a Ferrari or an off-brand Ferrari or something like that. I looked it up once because I think it had Corvette rims on or something like that. He jumps in that black car, and he's just like, thinking, he's brooding and doing whatever, and it's just cut after cut of Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3. And that's just like a good 15 minutes of, The Rock driving around, just thinking about all the things that have happened in his life. But we constantly get presented. It's like they came together and like, what are we going to do with all the people like feel left out because they haven't seen the other 3 Rocky films? And I'm like, I know.
Don't worry, we'll catch them up. It does have the best training montage.
Things. Just like, here's Mr. T, here's Apollo Creed, and here's like all these things and like all these crazy things going on in his life.
Phantom Crush says it has the best training montage. I'm inclined to agree.
Man, the Russian training montage.
Yeah,
man.
That one is solid. Okay,
and you get to see both of them doing like ridiculous, opposite things.
Fucking the Rocky running up a mountain like with a tree stump. Oh god, that fucking movie. Okay, so I did
like his sit-ups when he just like slamming the crap out of his stomach every time he goes down, just like
Yeah. I did some quick research. So the Italian Stallion was re-released after Rocky came out as the Italian Stallion. It was originally called The Party at Kitty and Studs, which was a softcore porno starring Sylvester Stallone. Which is
he had to do a lot to get Rocky out. Like, dude had to. I mean, like he did that, and he had to sell his dog.
Oh my god.
He had to sell his dog because like it was the whole thing where he tried to like get his script. He tried to get it produced, and they're like, yeah, well, we'll totally do this. But I think they said that he can't star in it. They're saying like, yeah, we're totally going to do this, and we'll pay you like some money for this, but you're not going to get to star in it. We're going to find somebody else. And he's like, I can't do that. Like, this is all I've got. And so he just did anything he possibly could. I don't know on the timeline whether or not he did the Italian Stallion to do that, but I know he had to go to pretty extreme lengths, like selling his dog and barely being able to live, and shooting weird scenes where he's just walking around
right
with a teenager.
Well, I mean, a lot of those dudes, like Kevin Smith, had like the same story where Kevin Smith sold everything he had. He had to run up his parents' credit cards in order to make Clerks, and like finally paid them back after Clerks came out, and it was like a fucking smash hit. Tarantino did the same thing where Tarantino like cashed out every bit of money he had to make Reservoir Dogs. Like, and they turned out who they are, man. Sometimes, listen, I'm not gonna tell y'all to like sell everything you have and risk everything you have for like a dream of yours, because like that's pretty fucking, honestly, might be one of the dumbest things you could do, because like I'm not gonna support you if you go homeless. Like, don't come begging me for money. But like sometimes the shit works out. So like, I'm not gonna tell you to do it, but sometimes taking a stab in the dark and fucking praying works out for you. Again, not a legal podcast. We don't offer legal advice or help, so fucking don't come crying to me when shit goes wrong. I didn't tell you to do it.
Really good suggestions.
Yeah.
But they could also be really bad.
Exactly. Remember, at the end of the day, these are the same guys that talked about wanting to watch their vasectomies, so this is who you're taking life advice from. Just throwing that out there.
I'm not too bad.
Whoa, hey, little monster.
No, you could call me T-Rex.
Oh, I can call you T-Rex, alright. She just had to pop in for a second. Just want to let everybody know that she's here. She got done playing in the room. Oh, man. Fucking... Newman says he already told his boss to fuck off and quit my job. But I got bad news.
I feel like we gave the disclaimer first, like really early on.
Yeah, very early on in the show.
About, like, breaking into cars and stealing them from corporations or whatever.
Yeah, the whole GM fiasco, which
don't do that.
Oh my god, man up and get a vasectomy. It was fucking best tagline.
Daddy Spider, how do you see?
What? Hold on, I'm actually doing a stream right now with Uncle Hacker. Okay.
Hey Dad, what's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon, probably Blastoise. All right, can I do my show now? You want to ask the people in the microphone? You gotta get closer to the microphone. All right, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, guys. What's your favorite Pokemon?
All right, now you got to back up a little bit, okay? All right, everybody. All right, Hacker, it's very important. We got to know your favorite Pokemon. Rockman
my
says
favorite Pokemon is Charizard.
Charizard? Whoa,
Yep.
that's a solid Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Cody's favorite Pokemon is Furret. Rockdan's favorite Pokemon, Psyduck. That's solid. We got a solid group of answers here. We had 2 more. We got ourselves the whole team. We'll take on the Elite Four. That's pretty good.
My favorite Pokemon.
What is your favorite Pokemon?
Swalot.
Swalot. Swalot and Gulpin? Alright, listen, we'll take Gulpin and we'll take Bulbasaur. We'll take on the Elite Four. I'll fucking mash up a team tonight. And I'll go take on the Elite Four with this team. With the exception of Cody's goddamn Furret, which I believe is Gen 3 or Gen 4. I can do all this in Gen 1. But I'll throw this team together. Thank you, Phantom Crush, for fucking throwing in Bulbasaur. Look, we got a full team now. We're going to do this. It's going to be great. Oh, my God in heaven. Man, I think we've hit just about everything tonight, though, Mr. Hacker. If anyone else has any questions in the chat, please feel free to throw them up to us right now. If you have any questions for Hacker, for myself, while I ask Mr. Hacker this last question, Mr. Ryan, if it's anything you have that you want to get off your chest right now, be it about fighting games, be it about life, be it about anything that's going on, now is your time while we wait for questions to come in.
First off, I'm going to suggest that everybody go and watch the movie Freaks. Not from 1932, this year, Freaks.
Okay.
If you read a description for what it is, it's going to be probably pretty wrong, and it's going to be intense for a few minutes, and you're not going to be sure what's going on, but it's a great film. Past that, don't be afraid to go out there and do those crazy things. I mean, it keeps me away from doing a lot of stuff, like being afraid to put things online keeps me from doing a lot of stuff. Being unsure about what the hell I'm talking about keeps me from doing a lot of stuff. And just general imposter syndrome, constantly thinking that I'm not who all of my accomplishments say that I am. That keeps me from doing a lot of stuff. But hey, try to go out there and do stuff. Works out well sometimes.
Listen, that feeling is not it's not foreign to me. Because
have you seen my web anywhere?
I haven't seen. Oh wait, you know what? I have seen your web. It is. I don't know where it is. Give me 1 second, okay? I'll be right with you. That feeling of imposter syndrome is not foreign to me, and I'm sure a lot of people, because there's a lot of times where I post these shows, and I go, man, I really wish I would have done something differently. Like, I really wish I would have asked different questions. I would have dug in on this, stuff like that, you know. But the important thing is that you go out and you do it, and you really learn to toss those feelings aside after a while, and it'll sit with you for a minute. But it's important that you do go out and at least do the things that you want to do, and feelings be damned of yourself. I don't know, just fucking go out and do it. I don't know, this fucking show, this podcast started because I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. One day, I worked on it for a while. One day I was like, I'm just gonna come out and fucking do it. There's no reason for me not to. And if it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. So far it's been mildly successful. So I'm fucking happy with it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do the thing. Get the vasectomy. Rockdan, I know you said you came in, you missed a bunch of it. If you want to go back, everything will be on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and I think iHeartRadio as of tomorrow. So if you guys want to go back and listen to it, there it all is. But that being said, I think we've reached the end of the show, Mr. Hacker. Where can people find you on the internet one last time?
So on Twitter, dammit_hacker, and Instagram, rfhacker. You'll see some wacky stuff, especially if I go to an event, you'll see me posting some wild stuff, because I will have a lot of beer. I think, I was constantly handing out Miller Lights at DEF CON, so it's a good time. Oh yeah, and if you go to an event like that, DEF CON, then come find me.
Yeah, please. Listen, if you go to an event, if you're like, what's HackerCon? What is DEF CON? Go to these events. Fucking try them out. And I guarantee you, if you look hard enough, you'll find Hacker. Who, incidentally, I don't know if we can disclose last names or not. But
go for it. I mean, it's right there in the thing.
Listen, but look, we've talked so much about you, going to hacking conventions. it is pure fucking kismet that your last name happens to be a fucking hobby that you're also into. Like, I'm sure that must be a fucking, like, you go to these conventions and you're just like, oh, Ryan Hacker, and then they're just like, okay, funny joke, but like, really, what's your last name?
Oh yeah, I had to. I actually handed out a lot of resumes. I was asked for resumes a few times, and people just thought I was just clowning them. It was just like, I thought that, like, I would be talking to these recruiters and they would message me later on and they're like, I thought it was just a joke.
Oh my god.
I'm like, nope, real person, real contact information, looking for a real job.
Wow. Wow, that's like obscenely shitty. Like, you might have to change your name at this point. Like, make it Hawker or something like that. Like,
yeah. Well, people have already thought I changed my name to this just because of, like...
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I'm assuming there are people that are just like, oh, you must have changed it, like, after the fact. Like, or at least lie to them. Like, do like the Anthony Weiner thing, where it's like Anthony Weiner. Like, no, it's pronounced Hawker or Hecker. Like, just make it really shitty. Like, no, it's not pronounced that way. It's German, Hawker.
I mean, it is German, but it's not that.
Oh man. All right, my dude. So yeah, if y'all want to follow Damn It Hacker on Twitter, that's DAMNITHACKER. Or follow rfhacker on Instagram. You will find him there. He is the world's sexiest dungeon master. He is also, yeah, he is the top 5 follow. He is also team leader of Not Your Dadman, which you find at hacking conventions all over North America. If you want to find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, vasectomieslive.com, you can find me at Sriracha Flash. I am all over the place. If you guys want to check out our fun merch, that is teespring.com/SrirachaFlash merch, or you can go to my Twitch store, teespring.com/store/SrirachaFlash's merch. It's all over the place. Go to my Twitch page. It's on there. We got fun stuff. Then there's also
Find the picture of me in the shirt. I've got the sweet shirt.
Yes.
Been wearing it the whole time, and I put the picture up. It looks great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. All right.
Great.
Before we go, for the people on the stream, they got to see it, because it's a fucking solid shirt on a solid man. A very solid man. Very good-looking man.
I was pumped. Oh, actually, I bothered you into making sure I could get a shirt that had this on it.
Okay. Look, listen,
I was like, why can't I do this?
Look, I very much fucking appreciate it, because I was definitely like, man, I would love to have like that option available to me, but I don't have it right now. And then you were like, listen, just make it happen, like, for me. And I was like, all right. And so like we got around to it, and I got the shirt made and stuff like that. And I didn't think anything of it until like it. Oh Jesus, this fucking picture. I didn't think anything of it. Like the fucking face is always what appears first. It's so good. I have too much of your face on the screen. Hold on,
There's a lot of that.
Oh yeah, look at that man. Look at that man. Oh my god.
That picture looks really familiar.
So I actually, and like, I know I had made the shirt and like got it all done and whatnot. Didn't think anything of it, and then I got a fucking notification from Teespring that was like, "Hey, dummy, you have money sitting in your account that you can cash out." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And then I saw it was like like 2 shirts or something like that, and on like stickers.
2 shirts, 2 stickers.
Oh my god! And I was like, "Who the fuck?" And I couldn't get to the bottom of it, and I was just like, "Who the fuck? Who could have done this?" And it wasn't until like 3 days ago when I'm staring at it, and it was like Texas shipping, and I was like, "Hey, I know who fucking bought this shirt." And then you posted the picture today, and I was like, "Oh yeah, like that shit's super exciting." All right, but that's enough of me fucking blowing myself for the last couple minutes here. This is the end of the show. Thank you everyone for fucking sticking around. Y'all have yourselves a fucking wonderful night. Thank you, Hacker. Thank you for hanging out and fucking giving us awesome stories and talks. Phantom Crush, Buford, Newman, everyone that's been here, Rock Dan, love you guys. Y'all have a good night.